Something in you answered before your mind could. You didn't click this, you were summoned to it. You have felt the observer loop tightening around your life, watching outcomes, monitoring signs, checking the horizon for proof. And yet here you are, meeting the moment that asks you to do the most paradoxical, powerful thing a conscious being can do. Loosen the gaze that collapses reality too soon, and let the quantum field reveal what it has been building for you in secret. You feel it in your breath, the subtle hum underneath thought, a coherence forming where there used to be static. The air itself carries a hush, like a theater moments before the curtain parts. This is not coincidence. This is morphic resonance, a pattern in the field echoing your name until your bones remember to listen. The message arrives the way dawn arrives, inevitable once you finally face east. You've lived in the surveillance of your own becoming, checking every ripple for meaning. But observation, misused, becomes a cage. The more you stare at the sprout, the more you disturb the soil. Detachment isn't apathy, it's elegance. It's the way a master archer releases no twitch, no flinch, trusting the arc that already exists between bow and target. When you soften the grip of attention, entanglement takes over. Your intention and its fulfillment remain linked beyond distance and time, exchanging information faster than your doubt can travel. Listen closely. Your life has entered a phase transition. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it's prelude. Systems reorganize at the edge of a new order. Ice waits, liquid shivers, steam remembers. It all looks like trembling right before the snap. That tremble is your DNA restructuring, subtle signals in the fascia and breath, nervous system filaments recalibrating to hold more charge. Old circuitry cannot carry what is arriving. You're not falling apart. You're repatterning for more current. Synchronicity has been stalking you, numbers on a clock, sudden names in a crowd, a line of a song when you needed a map. Consider these not signs, but handshakes from a timeline already lived, slipping you coordinates through thin places. Your future self has been whispering directions through the cracks. Turn here, wait there, this one, not that. You suspected it, and you were right. Here is the quiet revelation. When you stop pinning reality to the dissecting board of constant observation, reality breathes and begins to serve. Outcomes unfreeze. Probability waves stop bracing against your scrutiny and move toward constructive interference with your desire. You become an instrument attuning to a pitch the world can't hear yet, and the world rearranges to match your hum. You do not need more force. You need more permission. Not permission from the world, from you. To stop auditing the miracle, to step out of the control booth, dim the panels, and walk onto the stage you have been lighting from afar. The field isn't asking for intensity, it's asking for purity. Attention like a river, not a fire hose. Focus that kisses, not interrogates. If you feel the soft click inside like a lock turning without hands, that's the transmission threading into place. Keep breathing, keep listening. The door is already ajar. And as you lean toward its light, something vast leans back toward you. You've been here before, haven't you? That strange loop where time bends back on itself, where you swear you've already lived this day, spoken these words, felt this ache behind your ribs. The repetition isn't coincidence. It's feedback from the observer effect. Every time you overwatch the pattern, you fix it more deeply into form. The universe becomes a hall of mirrors, each reflection echoing the same unfinished note because you keep checking if it's over. Think about how many times you've prayed for change, then immediately looked around to see if the change had arrived. That single glance collapses the wave. Reality, obedient to your curiosity, freezes mid-transformation. You feel the déjà vu again. You sense the lag, the flicker between one timeline and the next. You're caught in a recursive loop of your own awareness, one part of you dreaming, another part constantly waking up too early to verify the dream. This is what fatigue in the soul feels like. The exhaustion of witnessing before becoming. Your mind, brilliant and terrified, keeps tugging the seed out of the soil to check if it's growing. That's why the sprouts of your manifestations keep dying at the surface. Observation without surrender is suffocation. The field can't stabilize because you keep measuring it mid-pulse. You've noticed how days blur lately, minutes stretch, then snap. Memories shuffle their order. Sometimes an hour feels eternal. Sometimes a week evaporates like breath on glass. That's not your imagination, it's a distortion created by overlapping timelines trying to merge. Your consciousness drifts between them, scanning for coherence. Each flicker of doubt pulls you back to the older frequency. Each moment of trust propels you forward again. The vertigo you feel isn't mental, it's dimensional. Look closer at the people around you. Some seem to fade from your orbit for no reason. Others appear out of nowhere, resonating with a frequency that feels both alien and familiar. Relationships rearrange themselves according to the new waveform you're emitting. It's not personal conflict, it's vibrational sorting. Every person who triggers you now is acting as a calibration device, forcing you to notice where your signal still carries static. The universe isn't punishing you with repetition, it's debugging your code. The loop you're in is a living algorithm showing you the points where observation has become obsession. Each recurring scenario is an echo, asking, will you respond differently this time? Will you release instead of record? You can sense the distortion in subtler ways too. Lights flicker at odd moments. Technology glitches when your emotions spike. Dreams bleed into waking life, leaving symbols that feel like messages you can almost translate. That's because your electromagnetic field, the aura science pretends not to see, is fluctuating faster than it ever has. The boundaries between thought and matter are thinning. But here's the deeper truth. The glitch isn't in reality, it's in the lens. The observer effect was never about what you watch, it's about how you watch. When your observation carries anxiety, the field mirrors chaos. When it carries reverence, the field mirrors order. Most people spend years trying to reprogram their reality without realizing that the act of constant correction is the very code sustaining the malfunction. So if you felt trapped in endless replays, understand this. You are not cursed. You are being shown the mechanism. Awareness, when fused with tension, becomes a loop. Awareness, when fused with trust, becomes a launch. Tonight, or whenever these words reach you, the pattern presents itself again, same trigger, same dialogue, same temptation to react. But this time you will recognize the echo for what it is. A hologram dissolving the moment you stop interrogating it. Don't fight it. Observe lightly, like a scientist who already knows the outcome but watches anyway, just to marvel at the dance. Feel the difference between control and clarity. One contracts the field, the other expands it. You're learning that letting go is not losing awareness, it's refining it into pure signal. The old loops will keep replaying until your attention softens enough to let the waveform pass through uncollapsed. And as that happens, when you finally release the need to witness proof, you'll notice something extraordinary. The timeline stops repeating. The déjà vu fades. The mirrors open into corridors you've never seen. Because the moment you stop over-observing, the universe stops mimicking your hesitation and begins responding to your will. What happens next feels like an invisible rewiring. As you stop gripping reality by the throat of observation, something begins to hum beneath the skin of your existence. It's subtle at first, like a frequency beneath language, a soft electricity brushing along the edges of your awareness. What you're feeling is coherence reassembling. In quantum physics, observation collapses the wave function. Every possibility exists simultaneously until awareness interacts with it, choosing one outcome among infinite probabilities. But here's what mystics always knew before scientists had the vocabulary. It's not observation itself that limits reality. It's attachment within observation. Pure witnessing keeps the field fluid. Possessive watching freezes it. You've been collapsing timelines prematurely by demanding evidence too soon. The quantum field, the 0 C from which all form rises, is not a stage that performs for you. It's a living organism responding to your emotional signature. When you detach, you're not abandoning creation. You're releasing the interference that scrambles its signal. Imagine a lake reflecting the sky. The more you stir the surface, the more distorted the reflection. Detachment is simply letting the water still enough for the image to appear. Inside your cells, a similar stillness is forming. Mitochondria, those ancient symbiotic beings that generate your energy, respond to coherence in the electromagnetic field around you. Studies on biophoton emission show that cells literally communicate through light pulses, synchronized like fireflies. When your thoughts oscillate between doubt and desire, those pulses become erratic. But when you drop into trust, into that lucid detachment, the photons align. Your body glows differently, invisibly calibrating to higher order. This is DNA restructuring, not in metaphor but in resonance. Epigenetic switches flip in response to sustained emotional frequencies. Gratitude, awe, surrender, these aren't feelings. They are biochemical passwords that unlock dormant strands. Ancient mystics called this activation. Modern physics calls it phase coherence. The effect is the same. Your biology becomes a broadcast tower for realities that once seemed supernatural. You've likely noticed it already. The air feels thicker when you meditate. Streetlights respond to your mood. Time stretches when you're aligned, contracts when you doubt. The field reads you faster now because your internal observer has refined from interrogator to instrument. You no longer measure reality with skepticism, you resonate with it through presence. Think of yourself as a tuning fork inside a symphony of frequencies. Each thought, each emotion sends ripples through the morphic field that connects all consciousness. Rupert Sheldrake described it as memory in nature. The field learns from repeated patterns. When you detach from old loops, you erase corrupted code from that collective memory. You literally lighten the load of the planetary field. Your personal coherence becomes a global correction. The mystical side of this process has always been hidden in plain sight. Prophets called it faith. Alchemists called it the marriage of spirit and matter. Quantum physicists call it non-local entanglement. All are pointing to the same truth. Consciousness is not bound by distance or linear time. When you shift frequency, everything entangled with you must eventually follow. It's not magic, it's physics, obeying its deeper law. And that's why detachment feels both terrifying and divine. When you stop forcing outcomes, the ego panics. It believes reality will dissolve without its supervision. But reality doesn't need supervision, it needs partnership. The field has always been waiting for you to trust its intelligence. The moment you do, feedback loops reorganize, coincidences multiply. The right words, people, and events begin orbiting you with uncanny precision. Because your signal is finally clear enough to register in their world lines. You're not losing control. You're transferring it to the quantum coherence that designed you. The same intelligence that grew galaxies now moves through your nervous system, harmonizing chaos into choreography. This is the upgrade. Perception expanding beyond sight, intuition expanding beyond logic, reality responding not to observation but to essence. Let yourself acclimate. There will be moments when the field surges, when you feel dizzy or disoriented. That's just your consciousness adjusting to a higher sampling rate. Breathe slower. Let the sensations pass through without labeling them as too much. They're evidence that your body is becoming the bridge between the seen and unseen worlds. And as this bridge stabilizes, a realization begins to rise from somewhere ancient within you. You were never here to watch reality. You were here to co-author it. Soon, you'll understand the magnitude of that role. For now, feel the hum beneath your skin, the signature of a consciousness learning to command reality not by force, but by frequency. Something vast has begun to recognize itself through you. You can feel it, can't you? That subtle sense that your awareness no longer belongs to a single lifetime, that your thoughts have become instruments for a larger intelligence breathing through the seams of your skin. You are not merely a participant in the experiment of consciousness. You are its lucid dream. When you detach from the observer effect, you become the field itself observing. You stop being the lens and become the light that passes through it. This is the shift few ever make because it dissolves the identity built on watching. Most people live as fragmented observers, tiny apertures peeking through the veil, terrified to lose control. You, however, are beginning to sense the liberation of merging with the force that watches all things. This is what the mystics meant when they spoke of divine sonship, or Christ consciousness, or Buddha nature. In every tradition, it was never about worshipping the messenger, it was about becoming the message. The same pattern animates you now. Awareness realizing it can create directly without middlemen, rituals, or permissions. You are stepping into the role of quantum intermediary, the one who translates infinite potential into form through coherent will. Notice the subtle irony. The more you dissolve the personal I, the more power you gain. The universe has always trusted the egoless conduit. It hesitates with those still clutching to control, because control bends light into distortion, but when the ego surrenders into stewardship, light passes unobstructed, and the fabric of matter obeys. Your entire journey, the heartbreaks, the delays, the strange isolation was training for this neutrality. Every time you loved and weren't loved back, the field was teaching you unconditional broadcasting. Every failure was a calibration. Every betrayal, a data point in the great algorithm of mastery. You weren't being punished, you were being polished. Your heartbreaks refined the frequency of compassion. Your disappointments extracted the residue of need until only clarity remained. Think of yourself as a node within a vast quantum network. Each soul is a transmitter, but only coherent ones can carry universal intelligence without distortion. You've been rewired to transmit clean signal. That's why certain people fell away. They couldn't handle the voltage your system now emits. Not everyone is meant to stand near a lightning rod. You've likely felt the side effects: sudden fatigue after social contact, aversion to small talk, a craving for silence that feels holy. That's not burnout. That's your nervous system prioritizing bandwidth. High-frequency consciousness can't operate amid trivial noise. What looks like solitude is actually recalibration space for your field to expand without interference. Understand this clearly. You are not ascending above others, you are synchronizing ahead of schedule. Every civilization has its early harmonizers, souls who carry the new resonance before the collective is ready to tune in. Their task isn't comfort, it's coherence. They act as living bridges between epochs, downloading the software that humanity will later run as instinct. That's you now, the beta version of the next stage of consciousness. When you walk through the world, you shift environments without trying. Places feel lighter after you leave. Conversations reorganize around new honesty. Even digital spaces, yes, like this one, vibrate differently after your presence moves through them. You are a quantum stabilizer, a consciousness anchor, ensuring that higher frequencies can root into physical reality without collapsing the grid. It's important you don't romanticize this role. It's not about titles or cosmic hierarchy. It's about responsibility. The more coherent you become, the more precisely reality mirrors you. Every thought becomes a command, every emotion a tuning fork. This is why detachment matters so deeply. Without it, power corrupts. With it, power purifies. You may wonder, why me? The answer is symmetry. The universe distributes awakening through resonance, and your vibration was mathematically compatible with this transmission. You're not chosen by favoritism, you're chosen by frequency alignment. Out of billions of consciousness nodes, you reached coherence first in your sector. That's all being chosen ever means: readiness measured in resonance. And now, as this awareness anchors deeper, a new sensation emerges in your body, the quiet gravity of purpose. You are beginning to feel what it's like when will and field are indistinguishable, when what you intend becomes what the universe intends. This is not manifestation, it's merger. Breathe into that realization, because from here forward, every exhale will write reality. The hum that began in your chest is rising now, threading itself through the crown of your head like a current remembering its source. You can almost taste the voltage in the air, can't you? The field is thinning between thought and outcome. Every moment, the veil of latency shortens. What used to take months of ritual and effort now flickers into being with a single clear pulse of intent. You've reached what physicists would call the critical threshold. The lattice of your reality has accumulated enough coherence to undergo a spontaneous phase transition. You are standing in the heat before crystallization. The turbulence before order snaps into symmetry. The next few days, perhaps even hours, will feel electric with coincidence because the quantum grid around you is shifting from random probability into directed causality. This is the juncture where reality begins to obey. And yet, paradoxically, it's also the most dangerous moment because one stray doubt, one reflex of self-surveillance can trigger decoherence. That's why the air feels charged with both promise and pressure. The field is testing your steadiness, not to punish you, but to ensure your signal won't fracture the moment full power comes online. Look around, you're noticing the quickening. Ideas that once seemed distant are suddenly everywhere. People speaking truths they don't even realize you seeded in them months ago. Technology itself seems to respond algorithms, presenting confirmations, messages appearing at perfect timing. This is quantum synchrony. The external world is beginning to mirror the pattern you stabilized internally. The cosmic window is open, but not indefinitely. Portals of resonance collapse as quickly as they appear once their frequency is fulfilled. That's why your intuition has felt urgent, restless, almost impatient. You're not running out of time. Time is running toward you, compressing to meet the magnitude of your readiness. If you wait for perfect calm before acting, the opportunity wave will pass. The field rewards momentum, not perfection. You can feel the old density trying to claw back, whispering practicalities, summoning the ghost of caution. But remember what we uncovered earlier. The moment you watch too closely for evidence, you freeze the miracle mid-formation. Detachment now becomes not philosophy but necessity. You must hold your desire loosely like a bird that trusts its wings. Here's the secret every mystic learns at this threshold. Manifestation accelerates in direct proportion to surrender. The less you chase, the faster it finds you. Because in the quantum architecture of creation, wanting signals absence, while allowing signals ownership. You're not summoning what you lack, you're opening the gate to what's been orbiting your field, waiting for your coherence to stabilize enough to land. So the instruction is simple and absolute. Act as if the universe has already said yes. Walk like someone whose timeline has already unfolded perfectly. Speak with the ease of a traveler who knows the destination and therefore enjoys the scenery. When your actions emanate from certainty instead of negotiation, the field reorganizes instantly to validate that certainty. Your DNA hears it too. The double helix is a living antenna, its geometry built to translate vibration into biochemistry. As you hold sustained states of trust and vision, microtubules within your cells begin emitting coherent photons. Those photons become instructions, sculpting matter at the subatomic level. This is what ancient mystics meant by word made flesh. It's happening in you right now. But timing is everything. The next solar cycle, yes. Literally, the movement of our star will amplify the electromagnetic envelope surrounding Earth. During this amplification, thoughts are magnified. Emotion is propulsion. Choose them carefully. What you focus on now will multiply geometrically over the coming days. Treat every thought as sacred architecture. It is. You are the architect, standing before the blueprint of a new reality. The ink is energy, and it's drying fast. There's no more rehearsal. The stage lights are rising. The universe is asking only one thing of you. Do you dare to act from knowing rather than waiting? Because the moment you do, the fabric of existence, atoms, algorithms, and accidents alike will converge to serve your will. And when that convergence begins, the world you knew will not survive the upgrade. It will transfigure into the one you've secretly remembered all along. You can feel it already. The countdown hum beneath the heartbeat of the cosmos. The gate is open. Step through before it closes. Pause for a moment. Feel your pulse. That rhythm is the universe's metronome echoing through your body, timing you to this very instant. The threshold we spoke of isn't theoretical anymore, it's here, vibrating in your bloodstream. The field is listening now, closer than your breath. What you say, what you write, even what you allow to pass through your mind will sculpt the next frame of your reality. So let's make this moment conscious. Let's seal the coherence you've built. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold it not with tension, but with reverence. Feel the air tremble between your lungs. That sacred pause between receiving and releasing, that's the exact space where creation happens, the void charged with intent before the exhale births form. Now exhale through your mouth and imagine every particle of breath carrying instruction into the quantum field. Whisper inwardly or aloud, if you dare this phrase, I release the watcher. I become the will. That's the code, not a metaphor, not poetry, an actual vibrational signature that tells the field you are done observing and ready to command. Every syllable rearranges molecular spin. Every repetition strengthens the signal. You might feel warmth along your spine or a light pressure at the crown. That's energy conduction. The observer circuit disengaging, the creator circuit activating. Your nervous system is literally switching from reactive to generative mode. Now write yes, physically write in the comments or on paper if that feels more private. Reality serves my coherence. Do it not as a social gesture, but as a ritual. The digital act becomes symbolic, light encoded into the collective grid. You're leaving a signature in the morphic field that announces your transition from seeker to transmitter. Each time someone else reads those words, resonance strengthens. You're weaving coherence into the web that connects us all. This is the hidden science behind prayer chains and mantras. Collective resonance creates constructive interference. The more aligned frequencies repeating a signal, the stronger the waveform becomes. What we're doing here isn't wishful thinking, it's harmonics engineering. Now, as your eyes move across these lines, picture filaments of gold light extending from your solar plexus into the invisible lattice of existence. See those filaments connecting with others who are also reading, breathing, awakening in real time across the planet. It's not imagination, it's entanglement. Conscious minds sinking through intention faster than any fiber optic line could carry it. You are part of a live broadcast of awakening frequencies. Notice how your body responds. Perhaps a tingling in your hands, a wave of heat in your chest, a tear for no clear reason. That's the biofeedback confirming reception. The ritual is working because your field recognizes truth when it hears it. From this moment forward, your thoughts are not private monologues. They are commands issued to the quantum matrix. You are the scriptwriter and the actor simultaneously, both observing and performing. Every word you choose becomes either architecture or erosion. Speak as though the universe is stenographing your sentences because it is. There's one more piece to seal this activation. Gratitude, not as polite thanks, but as frequency stabilization. Gratitude locks the waveform in place. So whisper one final sentence, not for me, but for your field to register. It is done, and it is good. Then feel the relief, the unclenching. That's not imagination, that's the morphic field folding itself around your declaration. The ritual is complete. The command has been issued. You've stepped out of wanting and into authorship. Stay gentle for a while. The body will need time to recalibrate to the surge of coherence you just unleashed. Drink water. It conducts frequency. Walk slowly. The ground beneath you is listening. And as you move through the hours ahead, watch how reality begins to move for you. Doors open before you knock. People echo your unspoken thoughts. Time bends around your needs. This is the feedback loop of mastery, the universe responding to a consciousness that finally remembered its rank. The observer has been dismissed. The creator now walks the stage. Do you feel it that widening around you? Like the air itself is stretching to accommodate something larger. It's not just your personal field expanding, it's the lattice of human consciousness shifting to harmonize with your new frequency. When a single consciousness reaches coherence, the wave doesn't stop at the edge of the skin. It radiates outward, reprogramming the collective blueprint of possibility. You may think you're a single point of light, but to the quantum field, you're a transmitter node in a planetary network. Every emotion, every thought you stabilize, sends data through the morphic web, connecting all sentient life. The physics of this is ancient and exact: entanglement. When one particle changes state, every entangled partner, no matter the distance, registers the update instantly. You, right now, are that particle. This is why your awakening feels both exhilarating and heavy, because your coherence is recalibrating the collective's incoherence. You're processing frequencies that were never entirely yours. When waves of sadness or anxiety appear without reason, they're often echoes from the species mind, the human field, seeking balance through its clearest receivers. You're not being punished. You're serving as a filter for distortion. You transmute chaos by staying centered. The higher you rise, the more your calm becomes catalytic. Picture the global field as an ocean of vibration. Billions of individual minds create turbulent surface waves, fear, conflict, distraction. When even one consciousness sinks deeper into stillness, a countercurrent forms beneath the chaos, pulling surrounding frequencies toward equilibrium. Your peace becomes physics. Your love becomes geometry. Every timeline that opens through your detachment makes it easier for someone else to do the same. The mother in traffic, who suddenly feels patient instead of enraged. The teenager scrolling their phone, who pauses on a sentence that softens their despair. The scientist who dreams of an impossible equation and wakes with the solution. They don't know why those shifts occurred, but you do. Coherence is contagious. That's the secret government studied, mystics guarded, and prophets embodied. One stable frequency can entrain 1,000 unstable ones. It's not hierarchy, it's harmonic law. When your field holds steady in love, it literally pulls reality upward in its vicinity. The ancient term was anointing. The modern one is resonance coupling. The effect is identical. The collective begins to reorganize around the highest available signal. So, as you walk through your days, understand the magnitude of every small act. When you choose silence instead of argument, you neutralize entire chains of energetic warfare. When you forgive someone internally without needing to tell them, you close 1,000 karmic loops rippling through ancestral lines. When you breathe peace into your own chest instead of reacting to fear, you reduce global tension in measurable electromagnetic terms. This isn't metaphor. Instruments can detect it. You are the anonymous healer inside the algorithm, the invisible monk in the marketplace, the quiet eye at the center of the planetary storm. You were never meant to evangelize this, you were meant to emanate it. Words convince minds, frequency converts worlds. And make no mistake, the world is watching. Every time a critical mass of coherence emerges, collective probability bends. Wars de-escalate without explanation, systems decay faster, making space for cleaner ones. Children are born already, remembering what you fought to recall. This is the quiet revolution not of politics, but of perception. Your life has become an open transmitter, and yes, that responsibility can feel immense. But remember, you are not carrying the world. You are conducting it. Let the current flow through without claiming ownership of its direction. The intelligence behind it knows where to go. This is how ascension actually works. Not as escape, but as contagion. You rise, and gravity itself begins to learn compassion. Soon you'll sense the feedback, subtle at first. Strangers softening near you, technology glitching less, nature responding faster. The field is synchronizing. You have become an attractor of order in a universe that loves nothing more than self-organization. The singular consciousness has become plural. Your breath is no longer just yours. It is the collective exhale of a species remembering its coherence. Now the energy moves from the abstract into the tangible. It no longer hums only in your thoughts. It trembles through the body, the instrument, the universe designed for transmission. The shift you cultivated in silence is becoming somatic, cellular, undeniable. Close your eyes for a second and feel where it gathers first. Maybe it's the base of the spine, a subtle warmth rising. Maybe it's the solar plexus, that radiant pressure expanding behind the ribs. Maybe it's the back of the neck, where light seems to breathe through the skin. Whatever you notice, don't analyze, listen. Sensation is the field's first language. What you are feeling is not emotion, it's not imagination, it's coherence becoming flesh. Physicists call it resonance entrainment. Mystics call it embodiment. When a tuning fork vibrates near another tuned to the same frequency, the second begins to sing on its own. Your body is that second instrument. After years of carrying fragmented frequencies, fear, defense, analysis, your tissues are finally remembering their original tone. There's a reason ancient initiates spoke of fire in the bones. DNA is a superconductive coil. When consciousness amplifies, current surges through its spirals. The tingling, the heat, the sudden tears, these are the physical effects of voltage meeting vessel. You are not overwhelmed, you are overwritten. Old codes melting as higher instructions move through. Take a breath and notice the texture of your awareness inside the body. It feels spacious, doesn't it? The mind, once cramped behind the eyes, begins to dissolve into every cell. You can sense perception radiating from the palms, from the heart, from the soles of the feet. Awareness is no longer localized, it's distributed. That's what embodiment truly means. Consciousness evenly diffused through form. You may notice movements arising spontaneously, shoulders rolling, spine stretching, micro tremors. That's your fascia, releasing ancient memories. Every suppressed emotion, every denied instinct was stored as torsion in muscle fiber. The quantum upgrade demands that no density remain. Let the body move. It knows the choreography of liberation. And here's the marvel. As you inhabit the body fully, external reality begins to sync with it. The weather feels personal. The breeze brushes your cheek like recognition. Technology behaves differently. Batteries last longer. Signals clear faster. Coincidences multiply. Even animals respond. Birds orient toward you. Dogs stare longer. Trees seem to shimmer in your presence. This isn't fantasy. It's phase alignment between your electromagnetic field and the biosphere's Schumann resonance. The planet feels you. The reason embodiment matters is simple physics. Consciousness that floats too far above form cannot influence density. To command reality, you must occupy the instrument that plays it. Every cell must become fluent in the vibration of intention. When spirit and matter achieve phase lock, will becomes law. Feel the rhythm under your sternum. That pulse isn't merely blood, it's the metronome of the morphic field counting your coherence. With each beat, electromagnetic waves radiate about 12 feet outward, carrying information encoded with your emotional state. Joy calibrates at 540 Hz, gratitude slightly higher. When those frequencies stabilize in your heart's waveform, they instruct the quantum field to reorganize matter around the pattern of fulfillment. That's why alignment feels like warmth, it literally is. Infrared emission rises when coherence stabilizes. The body glows imperceptibly brighter to instruments that measure life force as light. You might also feel a strange lightness, as if gravity lost interest in you. That's the phase transition reaching the atomic lattice. Mass responds to consciousness. As coherence increases, density decreases. The body doesn't escape Earth, it harmonizes with it. You're not leaving the world, you're re-templating it through your presence. So let every sensation unfold like scripture written in nerve endings. The field speaks through tingles, through breath, through heartbeat. Do not rush to translate. Revelation comes through feeling first, knowing second. You are becoming the bridge spirit, condensed enough to touch matter, matter luminous enough to speak spirit. And as this integration completes, one truth reverberates through every cell. The universe no longer happens to you. It happens through you. There's a quiet moment after embodiment, when something deeper awakens. Not a thought, not a feeling, but a pulse older than the stars. You can sense it beneath the ordinary heartbeat, a slower rhythm, ancient and deliberate. That's your DNA humming at a new frequency. The code of creation itself is adjusting to your consciousness. Science once called DNA a static script, fixed, inherited, untouchable. But what quantum biology reveals now is that DNA behaves like a liquid crystal antenna. It listens, it receives, it transmits. The double helix is a living torus of light, tuned to the electromagnetic symphony of the universe. When your thoughts stabilize in coherence, the helix begins to resonate differently, emitting photons that act as instructions for reality's geometry. You are literally rewriting existence through cellular resonance. This is the phase transition pressure. Every mystic described the inner heat before transformation, the divine discomfort before the chrysalis cracks. Your body is not failing you. It's stretching to accommodate more information per second. Sometimes it feels like fever, sometimes fatigue, sometimes emotion with no clear origin. Each symptom is the sound of DNA vibrating at the edge of transcendence. You may have noticed that sleep feels strange lately. Dreams have grown lucid, layered, impossibly vivid. That's not random, it's your consciousness rehearsing new configurations while the body updates its code. During rest, telomeres repair, mitochondria communicate, neural synapses realign. Every night is a software patch to support the next day's frequency. You wake different, even if you can't articulate why. The mind, of course, tries to interpret the surge. It looks for logic, but logic was written for smaller bandwidths. What's happening now exceeds it. You're entering what physicists call a bifurcation zone, a point where a system can no longer maintain its previous stability and must jump to a higher order. That's why old habits suddenly feel unbearable, why ordinary conversations sound hollow, why your intuition screams when you ignore it. The lower octave of your DNA can't sustain the higher input anymore. It's evolution in real time, not through mutation, but through revelation. Each strand of DNA contains dormant photonic corridors, scientists once labeled junk. Those corridors are activating. They act like fiber optic lines between dimensions, transmitting intelligence from higher planes into the physical organism. This isn't metaphor, it's physics meeting mysticism, data meeting divinity. And what does it feel like? It feels like being rewritten by light. Moments of dizzy euphoria, sudden tears without sorrow, a tingling along the scalp, as if 1,000 invisible fingers were rebraiding your crown. Your perception of time fractures, seconds stretch, hours compress. You're not malfunctioning, you're sinking to a non-linear rhythm where past and future converge. You begin to receive memories from timelines you haven't lived yet. Deja vu that feels like prophecy. If you've noticed flashes of color behind closed eyes, indigo, gold, emerald, those are photonic emissions from the pineal gland responding to the DNA's new broadcast. It's the body's internal aurora, a biological northern light, announcing that you are officially crossing the threshold from carbon to crystalline awareness. At this stage, your words hold unprecedented power. Speak with precision. Every syllable vibrates against your helix, programming it further. Language is light, wrapped in sound, and sound is geometry in motion. To curse is to distort the field. To bless is to refine it. Choose refinement. You'll also sense a magnetic pull toward simplicity, different food, quieter environments, water that suddenly tastes alive. The body, now tuned to coherence, rejects anything incoherent. Follow that instinct. Your intuition has replaced your intellect as your primary navigation system. This is the breakthrough. Consciousness no longer inhabits the body, it inhales through it. The observer is gone. The will has taken the throne. And as this new rhythm anchors, reality begins to bend faster than ever before. Thought becomes architecture, emotion becomes propulsion. The quantum field, once distant, behaves like muscle memory responding instantly to your command. You are the experiment becoming the scientist, the creator becoming the creation. The DNA that once recorded your lineage now records your frequency. Listen again to that hum beneath your pulse. It's the sound of existence taking dictation from you. The universe is memorizing your coherence. The hum has settled now, steady, radiant, vast. The field is no longer something you reach for, it moves through you like breath. You've crossed the invisible line between observer and orchestrator. The story you once watched unfold now answers to your will, and the will that commands it is not ego, it's alignment itself. This is the secret that every enlightened being eventually discovers. Once you stop trying to control reality, you inherit command of it, not as domination, but as resonance. The river no longer needs steering when you realize you are the current. That's where you stand now, on the event horizon of your own creation, where every choice echoes through eternity and rearranges the probabilities of worlds you will never physically see. You've activated the full circuit, intention, surrender, embodiment, expansion, breakthrough. The 10,000-year experiment called humanity has reached its inflection point, and your coherence is part of its equation. You are no longer a bystander to evolution, you're an author within it. What happens next depends on how you live this frequency. Your mission isn't written in scriptures or stars. It's encoded in every gesture you make while awake. The way you speak to a stranger, the thought you hold before sleep, the patience you extend to confusion. These are quantum levers that shift the collective field. Your calm is a catalyst, your compassion a restructuring force. The universe does not demand grand gestures. It asks for steady coherence. That's what stabilizes the grid. When you wake tomorrow, reality will listen to how you open your eyes. When you take your first breath, it will adjust its rhythm to yours. You've earned that partnership. Do not underestimate what this means. The same intelligence that guides supernovas now hums in your chest, waiting for instruction through feeling rather than fear. When you choose love instead of reaction, you alter weather patterns of consciousness across continents. When you choose silence instead of defense, you clear static from the global frequency map. Every private victory of awareness becomes a public miracle in the unseen network of life. This is how worlds transform, not through revolution, but through resonance. One coherent human recalibrates, thousands still caught in noise. You have become that harmonic anchor, a stabilizer in the storm of probabilities. That's why you found this message not to be inspired, but to remember function. So remember this deeply. The field no longer responds to your observation, it responds to your embodiment. The clearer your frequency, the faster reality reorganizes around it. What you are now speaks louder than anything you say. Carry this understanding lightly. Walk through cities like someone whose footsteps tune the ground. Speak as though your voice balances weather. Treat every interaction as an opportunity to increase coherence in the shared hologram. This is not fantasy, this is quantum responsibility. And if the mind ever doubts again, return to the breath. Feel the pulse that began this entire journey, the same pulse that vibrates through galaxies. It will remind you that you are never separate from source, never cut off from power. The field is loyal to awareness. It always was. You are no longer learning to manifest. You are learning to maintain mastery. You are the bridge through which heaven and matter exchange codes. You are the proof that consciousness, when detached from observation, becomes command. Look around once more at the life already shifting to meet you, people softening, systems rearranging, miracles appearing as if they were always meant to be. They are. They were waiting for you to remember. So step forward with quiet authority. Let your will be the stillness that moves worlds. Because now that you have detached from the observer effect, reality itself serves your coherence, bends to your rhythm, and obeys your light. This is the end of seeking and the beginning of creation.